giving me this opportunity to share, and Robin for inviting me. I haven't shared for a long time, but tonight my sharing is very simple. There are two important things on my heart, right, to share with you all. There is the reason why we need to stay healthy during the pandemic, right? So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, Robin, can you enable me to share screen? Okay, my topic tonight is staying healthy during the pandemic. Can you all hear me well?
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
No problem.
Okay. So we must answer this question, why we must stay healthy, right? The first thing is that we all know as Amway APOs that we have to be the product of our product, right? Meaning that we must use our product so that when people look at us, they know, they can see the difference, right? And they will ask, how do you do it, right? So then we need to help many unhealthy people around us and people who are scared of the COVID. You know, I talk to many older people, and then everybody seems to be scared about the COVID. But I have to tell you, right, that I just share with you that throughout this pandemic, right, from February up to now, I have never once get scared about the COVID. I'll explain the reason why later on, right? And the other thing is this, right? The Amway membership was about 300,000 before the pandemic. So it took 44 years to build to that number, right? But then last year, right, in 1 year alone, 2020, we have additional 300,000, means it's double in just 1 year. So that's why it's very important, right, that we must get a lot of new members, right? How come the 300,000 new people are mainly in West Malaysia, right? And are they in our group? So, you know, this we must be motivated, right, to get more people into our group, right? We must register more people. So I hope that you are doing that, right? So the part one of my talk is to say no to COVID-19, or we Young say 21, but the virus is 19, right? It was discovered in 2019, and it's still a problem in 2020, and it's still the problem today, right? Okay, why we must not have COVID-19, right? It spreads very fast, right? Death is about 3% of those who are infected. If you get COVID, your chance is 3 out of 100, right? You die, right? So, and the people who die are over 60 years old, right? And the reason mostly is that they have already have health issues like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, right? So the first death in Malaysia, this guy I knew from when he was very young, right? He's a Pastor Cheng. You know, he was a very nice person. Everything is all right, but problems, he didn't take care of his health. So he had heart issues already, right? High blood pressure and all those chronic diseases. So he was the first one to die of the COVID, and it's so close to us. Like we knew him. I knew him before he was even, like, you know, not even 20 years old. I've known him all these years, over 40 years, right? So it's quite sad because he did not take care of his health, right? So the World Health Organization has recommendations. So the SOP we do every day, every time, right, is established by the World Health Organization. So the report, this yesterday's report, right, we have over nearly 500,000 new cases and 123, nearly 124 million already worldwide, right, the whole world. And more than 2.7 million people have died from this disease. And the good news is that 431, nearly 432 million people have been vaccinated, right? Like Israel is the first one. I think they're nearly done 100% in Israel. So that's a good news, right? But you see the number of deaths is going up, right? It's not something that we laugh at, right? So the first thing we have to do, right, is protect ourselves against COVID-19. How do you do it? The first thing is that we must have a strong immune system inside of us, right? So then we must understand how our immune system works. So immune system tonight is my first part is my main message, right? Make sure your immune system is good, right? Okay, our immune system, right? So we must know what it is, how it works, and how to make it strong, right? So why the immune system protects us from cancer, right? Any cancer cell in our body is eaten up by a white blood cell, 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So it's protecting us from cancer. Then it fights foreign invaders. Like COVID is outside of us, so it's a foreign invader. So our immune system can actually fight the COVID virus, right? So foreign invaders, what the doctors call it and scientists call antigens. So the antigens are like things like bacteria, virus, parasite, fungus, and other foreign material. So bacteria, I don't want to talk many, right? If you have bacterial infection, the doctor will give you antibiotics, right? That's what normally do, and it multiplies very fast. It can happen inside your stomach. It can happen inside your lungs, right? But this is the one that we are worried about. The COVID-19 is a virus. A virus is not actually alive, right? It's not like bacteria that can grow and multiply. However, it has the DNA, the brain, right? That is protected, and it can go to our cell and hijack our cell DNA, right? Like the brain of the cell. And it kills our cell and produce new viruses, so it can spread, multiply more and more, right? So then viruses will affect other healthy living cells, right? So it's something like alien, right? But not alive, right? I don't know how to explain it, right? Okay. The components of the immune system. So our body has a lot of immune system going on, right? We have the lymphatic system that is, when you can touch it, it's near your neck there, the limb and the joints, every time the arms, and so you can find a lump, something like a little ball. This is a lymphatic system. Then we have the spleen next to our liver. We have the thymus gland. We have the white blood cell, antibodies, and hormones, and so on, right? So our body is well equipped with immune system, right? So the white blood cells are one of the most powerful immune system that we have, right? So we have 500 for every 1 million human cells, right? So there are many subtypes of white blood cells. We don't want to go into the detail. So there are the whole lots of white blood cells, a whole lot of it, right? If you're a scientist, you may be interested. Anyway, so we have natural killer cells, right, that hunts and destroy cancer cells, right? So, right, if your body doesn't have any killer cells, that means you're dead, right? So our body when people die, their natural killer cells doesn't work. That's why their body start to decompose. They start to rot, right? Okay, then all right. So the lymphatic system, right, protects us by swelling, right? So to produce more white blood cells and eat up bacteria and other foreign bodies, right? So there are two important white blood cells. So they are the B cells, the natural killer or NK cells, right? So that's how it does it. And our body is very smart, it can inject water and ions into cancer cell and kill it, right? So you never look, your blood is very powerful, right? So for good health, right, we need to have a balance between our immune system and antigen. That means the antigens are the thing that comes into our body all the time to harm us, but your immune system fight it, right? So like this picture here, we have to win all the time, right? You cannot lose. If you lose, then you fall sick, right? So when you fall sick, the doctor normally give you antibiotics, but it does not help virus, right? Like flu. Antibiotics does not does not help COVID, because COVID is a virus, right? So don't take antibiotics if you know it's a like flu, right? If you get flu, don't take antibiotics, it doesn't work, right? So I'll tell you what works later on, right? So what is bad for your immune system? So look carefully, right? If you like to drink alcohol, like wine or beer, be careful, right? It harms your immune system. Smoking, junk food, air pollution, water toxicity. I'm glad that Robin talked about East Spring tonight. Water toxicity is very important for anybody to stay healthy. The first thing we ask to do is to make sure that you have the East Spring at home, right? And prolonged stress, cortisol. If you're under stress a lot, then you are likely to weaken your immune system. Okay, next. So what is good for your immune system? So you need a peaceful rest, right? It means enough sleep, enough rest. You need to exercise, have clean air, clean water, nutritious food, and supplements, right? Like all your vitamins you take. So then the supplements that are important are the antioxidants, the plant nutrients that you find in double X and fruit and vegetable concentrate, B6, B12 found in your B complex and daily and double X, zinc also found in your daily and double X, omega-3 oil, echinacea, right? So these are one that will help you. So these are some things. I'm going to go to details. These are things you all know, right? So I want to highlight this one, right? Nutrilite has triple gut echinacea. I don't know whether you tried it or not, but this is one of the most wonderful thing that we have in our Amway supplement list, right? Why? Because every time I feel like my body is not quite right, and suddenly I sneeze or feel a bit weak and so on, I just take 3 tablets per meal, right? So I do it 3 times a day, 3, so 9 tablets. Normally after 6 tablets, I feel good already. It's very, very fast. If you have any signs of that you're losing, your immune system is coming down, you take it, it's very, very fast. In fact, echinacea is a natural antibiotic, right? It's found in North America, like saw palmetto, they are found by the Red Indians. They use it for hundreds and hundreds of years as a natural antibiotics, right? So this one is special because it not only can kill bacteria, it can also kill viruses, right? So this is only natural antibiotics that can deal and destroy viruses. So that's why it's so important, right? So the next question is, can echinacea fight COVID-19? So that's an important question because COVID-19 is a virus, right? Can it do it? What do you think? So this is a report that came out in 2011. So people have studied about it already, right? The echinacea is a source of potent antivirus for respiratory virus infection. So this echinacea, right, before antibiotics was discovered, everybody used echinacea in America, right? But because antibiotics are a lot cheaper, so they stopped using echinacea. So in this article, if you have this article, you can Google it, right? This article. So inside this article, it says this, right? Virus, right? Flu, right? This respiratory, that means your breathing area, all this one, right? All this one, including coronavirus, HCOV, SARS virus, and so on, right? So you see on the right-hand side, a plus means is echinacea can fight it, right? That means plus means echinacea can work. So you have 1+, 2 pluses, and then your COVID-1 coronavirus, right, has a plus to it as well, right? So, I would say that all of us should have triple gut and echinacea at home in case any of your family members get hit by coronavirus, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it works, right? It works for coronavirus, your triple gut echinacea. So this is a scientific paper, right? It's not just anybody put on YouTube or Facebook, right? This is a scientific paper. Okay, so keep triple gut echinacea at home, right? So the next one that Amway came up for the COVID pandemic is this one, the botanical beverage, right? Mixed accelera with licorice and turmeric, right? Turmeric is what we call, I don't know the Malay word at the moment, but Hokkien is Mee Kiao, right? Licorice is a black thing that make into sweet, right? It's also found in your garlic. Our garlic has licorice as well. So these 3 ingredients are found to be good, right, for our breathing. That means viral infection, right? For our breathing area from your mouth, your nose, the tubes going to your lungs, right? Is to protect all this breathing area, right, where you breathe. So this is the formula, and so it's very powerful, right? Meaning that if you get, you protect you against the virus, right? Any virus, even coronavirus, right? So this is a very powerful one that I will say that encourage you to keep it at home, right? To take it regularly. Then the other immune system is immune system is the probiotics, right? Remember that 70-80% of your immune system comes from the bowels, right? And this way you need to put the good bacteria into your bowels, in below your stomach, all this area to keep you. So this one is very important, right? In the whole of last year, when the corona virus, the pandemic came, right, I make sure that at home we have this one, right? We eat it every day. So I'm very pleased to tell you that I was never sick even one time during the pandemic, right? Even up to now. So yeah, this. So of course, the other things that we have to boost your immune system, right, to make your immune system is the multivitamins and like double X with the phytonutrients. So this is another one I use to keep my immune system strong. And of course, you all know Bio-C and Salmon Omega, right? Also boost your immune system, especially Bio-C, right? So Bio-C plus, right, it's not just ascorbic acid. You know, if you go to the pharmacy, you say, oh, I just heard one lady say, if you find a cheaper vitamin C, you know, vitamin C is very cheap because they're made from the factory, and it's just ascorbic acid, very easy to make, very cheap. But real vitamin C has many ingredients, right? It has bioflavonoids, it has factor K, factor J, factor P, it has triosinase, it has ascorbinogen, apart from the vitamin C, right? It's many. So our vitamin C is a real vitamin C, right? It comes naturally. It's not just ascorbic acid. I hope you understand, right? Only natural vitamin C works, right? Okay. Then the calcium, magnesium, D plus, right? You know, one of the immune system booster is not the calcium, magnesium, but the D, vitamin D. So if you take 3 tablets of calcium every day, right, you get 100% of the US recommended daily allowance, right? So that means you should have enough. So, and vitamin, calcium, magnesium is one of the cheapest supplement you can get from our Amway shelf. So make sure that, I think this is everyone should be taking it, because vitamin D makes your body strong against COVID, right? So this one lady I know, right, personally know this lady, and we told her that she got COVID. She was under quarantine. So we said that make sure you get the sun every day. So she said it's true. Every time she go outside, right, for a few minutes, she feel, after some time, she feel better. So the sun helps, like, to fight against COVID, right? So of course, the sun is very cheap, right? You can get vitamin D from your sun. So normally you should spend about 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon, right, to get some sunshine. The best time is like before 9 a.m. and after 3 p.m. That's when the UV light is not as strong, right? UV light is very strong between 9 and 3. And because of daylight saving in Malaysia, I would say that, you know, between 9 and 4, right? Don't go up to the sun. Go before 9, go after 4, right? Then you can get the UV lights will help you to make vitamin D inside your body, right? Under your skin, of course. Then you can boost all your vitamins with garlic and Siberian ginseng and ginkgo biloba. These are the boosters, right? They make your vitamins stronger and more powerful. So if you want more, right, this is more. I understand that there are many products, so you have to select the ones that work for you. So if you want to boost it, use these two things to these products to boost your vitamins that you take, like vitamin C, vitamin D, and so on. They will boost it, right? It's like giving your vitamins a turbo charge, right? You understand? So of course, the other things that is very important is atmosphere sky. I hope and wish that you all can work towards it, right? To have atmosphere sky in your bedroom, right? So the atmosphere sky can filter up to 0.0024 microns, right? It's about 40 times smaller than the COVID virus, right? So if you have it in the office, you don't have to worry, right? When people, if they cough or they sneeze, right? The atmosphere sky can take care of it for you, right? Okay. So that is the first part. The first part is to boost your immune system. The second part is to avoid cellular inflammation. I will explain what it is all about, right? This is something that we do not see, right? What is happening to our body. We are very aware of the SOP every day. We avoid, we want to know, don't want to get sick with flu or any infection, right? But there's something going on in our body that we must not neglect, right? We must be aware of is cellular inflammation. And why do I say this? Because during the pandemic, right, a lot of people cannot go out to exercise. A lot of people, got nothing better to do but play games, watch video, Facebook, computer, and sit down, and worst of all, eat and drink a lot. So the result of it is, we put our body into the danger of cellular inflammation. So let me try to explain it, right, and hope you can understand this one, right? What is inflammation, right? I will explain a little while, right? But the signs of inflammation are important, right? If you have these signs, inflammation is something like your body is on fire, right? So the sign is you get brain fog. That means you cannot think properly. You keep on forgetting things, right? Or you're always tired, or you have trouble with your stomach, bowels, problem, or you feel depressed, or you may have swollen joints. Your joints are painful. And the obvious one is if you check your fat level, the visceral fat goes up, right? Or you may have skin problems, or you start to experience frequent inflammation. If you have any of these signs, you have to watch out, right? To make sure you don't have inflammation, or you have to stop it, right? Right. So what's the result? What can happen? The result is this, right? You get chronic diseases. Chronic diseases are not the one that come from outside. COVID comes from outside, flu comes from outside, SARS comes from outside. All the diseases like TB, smallpox, and measles, and they are from outside our body. But this one is inside of us, right? And worst of all, it stays a long, long time. So the ones I think you are quite familiar with this is like gout, high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis. Arthritis, it means all the hands and fingers are painful, right? High cholesterol and heart disease. So this is just as bad as a weak immune system, right? Just as bad as infection, and sometimes worse, right? So we need to see the whole picture of causes of death, right? So this is from the World Health Organization. 5 years ago, right? So you see that heart disease is the biggest, right? Stroke is related to heart disease. It's like heart disease in the brain, right? Then the lung disease, right? And so on. Then you see diabetes and so on. So these are big numbers, right? If you look at here, these are chronic diseases like diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer, stroke, heart disease. These are what we call chronic diseases, right? Tuberculosis is from upside. This is what we call acute diseases, right? Diarrhea is also acute, right? Okay, so next slide. So in upper middle income countries, the countries that are very rich, the heart disease even worse, right? You see the stroke is so much bigger than all the other causes like cancer and so on, right? More than other things that come, more than flu and pneumonia and so on. So you look at that. So we have to be more worried because this one is very quiet, right? You don't really know. When it comes, you don't really know, right? And also high income countries, the people are very, very rich one. Heart disease is still number one, right? Stroke in number two, right? So these are very important. Dementia disease and Alzheimer is also a chronic disease, right? This one is not, this is not, right? But kidney diabetes, cancers are also what you call chronic diseases. So this is the biggest danger for us, right? But the worst thing is that it's so slow that we don't notice it. But when it comes, it comes. Like just recently, I was looking at one of my friends, right? I look at him walk. I just say, oh my goodness, this guy, if he doesn't take care of his health, he'll get into heart disease. If you get heart attack or stroke. Sure enough, after a few weeks, only after a few weeks, he got a stroke, right? Because that's, you know, you look at people, if they don't know how to take care of their health, they don't understand how important it is to keep your health good, right? You can easily go into heart attack or even stroke, right? So the death per every month, right, in the year, every month, heart disease and stroke are the two numbers, right? Highest numbers. Okay. So what causes cellular inflammation? Right. Number one, calorie overload. Number two, lack of antioxidants. Number three, water toxicity. So I'm not going to share on water toxicity tonight because it is related to East Spring and where to explain why the water that people take, right? How it can harm our body. I think it's related to the East Spring. Maybe when we do it East Spring another time, we can talk about how bad water, right, can harm our body. Then ambient air pollution, talking about the polluted air in our city, how it can cause autism and many other problems like heart disease as well, right? And even diabetes. So this is another topic to share when we share on the atmosphere sky. So I'm doing these two tonight, calorie overload and lack of antioxidants. So calorie overload means we are eating too much, right? So if you're eating too much, I think you have to listen to me very carefully over the next few slides because you have to protect yourself against inflammation, right? So the results of calorie overload, eating too much, right? Too much high calorie is what we call syndrome X. I've shared this topic before, so I quickly go through it again, right? There are many types of syndrome X, right? From the cardiac, from your heart, cardiac syndrome X, we don't talk about tonight, but I want to talk about metabolic syndrome, right? Right. This is the topic I want to talk about. So why is syndrome X dangerous? Because 80% of people with syndrome X become diabetic, right? And 80% of diabetic people too, right, get heart disease. So the chance of becoming, if you get diabetes, you get 80% chance of getting heart disease. So if you multiply, right, this one, so everybody is 64%, right, chance of getting heart disease if you go along syndrome X line, right? So first of all, you can check your body, right? If your body is apple shaped, your stomach, then it's called central obesity, and you're going to get high blood pressure, high triglycerides, low HDL, right? And you become insulin resistant. So this is a danger, right? It's a sign. Okay. Another sign that you look for if you have metabolic syndrome is your fat level, right? For a guy, for a male, if you're over 20% fat, I think you have to watch out, right? So I think it's very good to get hold of an in-body dial and to do your profile, right? Your fat, to check and test yourself. Make sure you're below 20%, right? For a female, it must not be over at 28%, right? For male, must not be over 20%, right? Okay. So what causes syndrome X? Let me explain, right? First of all, it's genetic, right? So we can't help it if it's genetic that 30% of white people, 50 to 60% of black people are very prone that they get it very easily, get syndrome X very easily. So the second thing that we face, I think us Asian, Malaysian, is high glycemic index food. So what is glycemic index, right? If you eat 50 grams of carbohydrate and you measure your sugar level over 2 hours, then you compare the sugar level against eating the same amount of glucose, right? Then that is what you call your glycemic index. But make it easy, right? If glucose is 100 in the index, potato is 88, white bread is 72, sweet potato 56, white rice is 61, and white rice is 56, and so on, right? So soybean is good, right? 17 only. Chickpeas, right? Kacang kuda, right? Is 34, apple 38. So these are the better ones, right? Meaning why we don't want so much glucose coming from our food. So I'll explain it a little while, but this is what we are taught, right? The food pyramid, they say you must eat bread, cereal, rice, the most, right? And then after that, second level, a bit less is a fruit and vegetable, and worse, the second last is protein food, right? Anything protein, meat, yogurt, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and nuts. So they'll get the protein, and then last is oil, right? So this is what we are taught, but this is actually very, very dangerous, right? So let me explain why. So this is an important point that you have to take note, right? Okay, your natural food, right? Look at food in nature, right? These are the food like meat, chicken, fish, prawn, onions, broccoli, brinjal, tomato, asparagus, lemon. These fruits are natural fruit, right? And salmon, fish, avocado, and so on. These are natural food, right? So this one, why? Because you can eat all this, right? This food without cooking, right? You can eat this without cooking. Why? Because your body, by nature, right, can have produced the enzyme to digest this food. That means your body has the enzyme to deal with this food, right? So you can eat it and not die, right? And not be sick. But these things, the cereals are like jagung, right? Maize, rice, wheat, and so on, right? Millet, oats. This one, your body you cannot eat it raw. If you don't cook it, you eat it, you feel sick, right? So you must understand these are not so natural. These are, to eat this sort of food, like even like rice, you need to process it. That means you must cook it. You must take away the husk, you must cook it, right? If you have seen wheat before, if you see wheat, right? Something like this, right? Wheat is so hard, right? You cannot eat it. You know, even if you take a hammer to hammer it, it's very hard to break, right? To take wheat out because the shell is so hard. So you cannot just eat it without cooking, right? So all this is cooking. So these are the food we should not eat a lot because it's not your body doesn't have the enzyme to digest it without cooking, right? This food, not cooking. Without cooking, your body doesn't have enzyme to eat this food, right? So that's why it's not good for us, right? So I remind you again, right? All of us, one bowl of white rice is equal to 14 teaspoons of sugar, right? Actually 13.5, right? So every time you take white rice, a lot of it, right? You introduce a lot of sugar into your body, into your blood. You know, at any time, right? Let's say you're not eating, right? The sugar level in your blood is, I think it's about 1 or 2 teaspoons on air, right? If you're not eating rice, anything, let's say you're not eating no more food, if you taste your blood, the sugar level is very, very little, like only worth about 1 or 2 teaspoons of sugar. So suddenly you take rice, you just imagine how many teaspoons of sugar go into your blood, right? So why is sugar not good, right? Because it lowers the immune system, right? It can push your immune system down as far as 80%, right? And then it disturbs your blood insulin. That means your pancreas, right, has to work very hard to produce insulin. It doesn't know how to balance your insulin, right? Suddenly you have so much sugar. Insulin are the one that help to convert the glucose, right, for storage into your cell, right? This is scientific. We're going to talk about it. Okay, then the sugar reacts with our blood cell and it becomes corrosive. That means start to harm our cell, right? Then it will encourage your storage of visceral fat. So if you take a lot of carbohydrates, right, for years and years, your visceral fat will keep on going up and up and up, right? So visceral is dangerous because once it's high, you get a chance of getting diabetes and other heart diseases, right? So this is the one that should always be low, right? As low as you can, right? So how do we reverse syndrome X, right? So we have to eat right? So now we must change it, right? The most things we should eat is the fruits and vegetables, right? So fruit and vegetables should be about half what we eat, right? Vegetables, the most, fruit second, then meat, protein food, fish, eggs, and chicken, low fat in the middle, right? Then your rice and your wheat and your bread, this little amount, right? Then the good fats, right? There are good fats and bad fats. And then maybe top the things you like to eat, like chocolate and so on, right? So I find that after I stopped taking a lot of sugar, my sugar intake is so low now. I find that one of the plus side is that everything tastes nice, right? All your food tastes good when you stop sugar. You take away sugar from your tea or coffee, you take sugar away from your food, right? Then suddenly your tongue becomes sensitive and every food tastes nice, right? So I really enjoy food every day. Right? So this is a body key program, right? I mentioned even in my previous company, right? We adopt this pattern, right? Half fruits and vegetable, then half 1/4 carbohydrate and 1/4 meat, right? And fish and so on, protein food. Okay. So we must do moderate exercise every day. So that's why in the Botiki program, we must walk about 10,000 steps every day if you are not doing anything else. But I find that 10,000 is just a bit low, right? So mine is normally, if I have the weather is good, I do gardening, exercise, mine is always about 30,000 steps a day. And my highest is not even trying to walk anywhere, doing housework, gardening, I've gone as far as 42,000 steps. So, other words, our body, it must keep using your body must keep on going. Right? Okay. So eat low glycemic food, as I said earlier, right? Because it produces less sugar, it produces sugar slowly, so a lot less, right? So you have carrots, this one is soya, the apples, peanuts, this one chickpeas, this soya, this one is from the green soya, right? So the next causes of inflammation is lack of antioxidants, right? Because lack of antioxidants will cause inflammation. So you have everything that you need, right? You have the green tea, the bio-C, multicarotene normal, fruit and vegetable, some omega double X, and so many more, right? That you can put in, right, to antioxidants, right? Your vitamin E and so on, right? So we must have enough antioxidant to stop inflammation, right? So we cut down on dangerous food, right? Then we eat healthy oils, like coconut oil is very healthy, olive oil, unrefined palm oil, and salmon omega, right? Salmon omega is the oil there's so much to talk about salmon omega, right? You can always try it out if you have severe pain in the joints, right? You just take about 6 capsules a day for 1 week or so. You find that the pain will go down. And not only that, your skin will become very, very smooth, right? So it has many problems because it stops inflammation. Salmon omega stop inflammation. If you have leg injury, if you're like running and you sprain your ankle and so on, salmon omega take a lot, then the pain will go down, right, very fast. So it's what you call anti-inflammatory, right? It stops the swelling. So then you have to practice calorie restriction, right? I got a few minutes left, so it's good, right? I'll just talk. Eat less carbohydrate, like white rice, bread, and cakes, right? This must be as little as possible, right? And For me, I make sure that I don't eat more than 1 bowl of rice per day, right? Always less than 1 bowl of rice per day. Okay. Then do intermittent fasting. That means after dinner, like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, then don't eat. Now just drink water until the next morning. So you count 14 to 16 hours. Like if you stop at 8, then you'll be like 14 hours, you'll be 10 o'clock or up to 12 o'clock before you eat again. So this is called intermittent fasting. This one, right, intermittent fasting will bring your visceral fat down. So if you have visceral fat that's high, intermittent fasting is necessary, right, to reduce it. Remember, right, visceral fat, intermittent fasting. So this is one I shared before, but I still want to share it again, right? So insects and animals like rats and so some of them has very similar physiology to humans, meaning that the way the body system works is very much like us, right? So for insects, right, you're given NAC, right? Is this one acetylcysteine, right? It boosts your glutathione, and mosquitoes can live 40% longer. Fruit flies can live 20%, 26% longer, right? So actually can increase your life, right? Then for rats, they do experiment, they restrict the diet. That means they eat less, right? So as a result, less calorie intake, better repair of the body, and the cell's total energy increases, right? So it builds up the proteins for cell to operate, meaning that when you eat less, it's better for your body, right? So it keeps cells and antibody functioning well. So that's what happened to the rats, right? If you eat less, the body function better, right? So these 2 mice are twins, right? One eats less, one eat more, right? On the right hand side, it's more. You see that this rat start to get older faster, right? When this rat eat less, it's younger, right? So the scientific paper says, right, when you eat less protein, that means meat, right? You engage in intensive exercise, experience comfortable cold, like maybe you should take cold bath once a while, right? Like in Russia, right, they have a tradition, right? In winter, you see them cutting the ice and going to take bath in the icy water, right? So that will help them to live longer. So the scientists say, right, when they find that the body gets all these things, right, then it starts to triggers the longevity genes. That means it produces the genes that want to make you live longer. Because see all this danger coming, right? Your body see this danger, less food, less protein, more exercise, cold. So the body will start to work to produce the genes to make sure that the body can survive, right? Can make sure the body is strong until the good times comes again, right? So the conclusion is eat less, live longer. So I have to say during the pandemic, right, we must not eat more, right? We should be eating less, right? Because we are not burning our food, our sugar enough, right? So next time I see you, I hope that you all look better, right? So the other thing advice is start on the body key program, right? Start on the body key program. No, skip. So just a testimony, right? I started the body key on an 81-year-old guy, right? So I met him at APC. So 81 years old, and he's got, for 40 years, he got diabetes, right? And recently got cancer. But said, okay, if I start this on the program, you may be able to get rid of your diabetes and hopefully the cancer will not come back. So I just started on it in March 9. We start the first measurement, right? It was 76 kilogram, and today he's 76.2, so it's dropped already. And the muscle mass still the same, right? But the fat level 31 about the same, but the amount of fat mass, the total mass in the fat from 24 now is 23.7. Just started this just over 2 weeks only. But the happy thing is that the visceral fat, right, from 9 has dropped to 8, right? From this just over 16 days, it's dropped to 8, so it's coming down. It makes me very, very happy, right? So the visceral fat is the one we need to watch. This is a result from the in-body down. And if you don't have any embodied doubt around you have to borrow from maybe Robin's got one, right? Yeah. So okay. Next. So during the pandemic last year, right? I was always moving around, doing a lot of gardening, moving and walking. And even before the body key, my weight has dropped. I lost about 5 kilograms of weight already. Then I also started on the body key for in the middle of 2020. So this is my result, right? We just get on March 20th, that is 5 days ago, right? My muscle mass is 29, fat only 6.2, and percentage only 10.7. And my visceral fat, right? I'm very happy with this, only 2, level 2. So what I'm trying to say is that in this pandemic, we have 2 things we have to watch out, right? We have to watch out. One is that our immune system has to be strong. Number 2, we don't allow, right, our habits, right, because we don't exercise more or we eat too much. We don't allow it to build our visceral fat, and it can cause inflammation and move us to syndrome X, right? Then we can move into the chronic disease like heart disease and diabetes, which is very bad. So I think we have to be careful, right? Pandemic is just not one thing, right? It has many, many side effects, right? Some people lose their business, their income, but we may be taking supplements, but not careful with our body composition, right? Because of the change in lifestyle. So we have to watch out, right? Make sure that our body is strong and healthy, right? So finally, my conclusion, we ask the question, why we must stay healthy, right? So we have to be the product of our products. We need to help many unhealthy people who are scared of COVID, who are in danger of chronic diseases. And we must go and get some of the new membership, right? Okay, that's my sharing. Thank you, everyone.